Welcome. We're doing something a little different today. I have with me Eric Sorto. His fiancee Violet is down here in the sanctuary. We're not going to bring her up here. It's just going to be Eric and I. Normally, this is our life group hour. We are broken up into smaller groups throughout the building and discussing various topics and books of the Bible. But today, Eric is here with us candidating for the position of youth pastor, and I wanted a chance for those in our membership to meet Eric in an informal way. You'll have another opportunity this afternoon during our Pine Car Derby upstairs. They're going to stick around, get to know you folks. But this is your chance to ask questions. So I'm going to start by asking some questions I think we all want to know. And then I will, throughout the rest of the morning, allow for those of you in the congregation to ask some questions. Eric will answer them. I have not given Eric answers to any of these questions. I've told Eric the questions that I'm going to ask him. I don't know what you'll ask him, though. So Eric will be honest on whatever question you might have for him today. And this is being live streamed for those who could not make it today, and they can watch this at any time in the future. So, Eric, let's start with your salvation testimony. Can you give us a brief rendition of when you got saved and how that came about?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Like Pastor said, my name is Eric. I was born and raised pretty much in church my whole life. My family was heavily involved. We weren't a pastoral family by any means, but we were just laymen in the church. And so I grew up in church my whole life. And it was a Wednesday night, I believe, that pastor was preaching about heaven and hell. And I realized, I was 5 years old at the time, I realized hell is not a place I want to go to. And I went home that night and I went up to my mother and I said, I'm Hispanic, so I called her Ma. I said, hey, Ma, how can I know I'm going to go to heaven or hell? And she encouraged me to go talk to my father and let my father explain to me the plan of salvation and what it means to be saved and what it means to, when you die, where you're going to go. And through that, I was able to talk to my father. He explained to me. I got saved that night at the age of 5. And then later on in life, I was dealing with some doubts and anxiety and stuff like that. And so at the age of 13, I got reassurance of my salvation, and I haven't doubted it since.
I'm curious. What changed you as a youth pastor? You're going to have a lot of teenagers that will have the same struggles and doubts as you. What helped you come to that point at 13 where you said, I don't need to worry about this anymore? I'm no longer concerned about my salvation. What was it for you?
A better comprehension for me was a better comprehension of the love of God, that it's something very deep and we won't fully understand, but it became very clear that he loved me. He loves all of us, but he loved me, and he did send his son to die on the cross for us, and I put my faith in that, and I said, if I'm good enough for him, then he's good enough for me, and I didn't doubt it since.
All right, well, let's talk about your call to the ministry. We are looking for you to be a youth pastor, and it's important to our church that we know that you know this is what God wants you to do. So why don't you give us the events that led up to you knowing God wanted you in full-time ministry, and then what it is about this specific ministry that attracts you here.
So after the age of 13, when I was 14, when I got reassurance of my salvation, I was at church camp, and that was at 13. At 14, and we went back to the same church camp, and there